Hello, this is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Today's video is regarding the timeline that Ann Taylor seems to want to question, meaning the sequence of the elantra driving around, doing various loops, seemingly surveilling the area, the night that Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle were all killed by who I believe is Bryand Kohberger, because his DNA was found on a knife sheath left at the crime scene while a white elantra missing a front license plate was parked outside. Now, Ann Taylor would argue that's not the same elantra, it's a different car because you can't absolutely tell. And as if timing doesn't matter at all. It's absolutely a sequence here. So they're discussing this 1125 Ridge Road video here that says that around 3:29 the vehicle spotted there. Now I can't find that location where she said that. I think it was in that portion about the 3:29 could have been in a document, or it could have been in another hearing portion, but I wasn't able to find that. But I remember her saying that specifically, that was at 3:29. All right, so let's go over what it said in the probable cause document back in the day. I mean, so this has all been known, and it's really kind of simple to follow. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive. Now make sure to watch here, because I actually drove this exact route and timed it, and I'll show it to you on the screen, okay? It was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. And it could be 3:26 and 24 seconds, we don't know. And westbound at Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28 a.m. On this video, it appears suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. So what we're seeing right now is this is Indian Hills Drive. The vehicle's headed this direction, suspect vehicle 1. And just a couple of minutes later, it's spotted right here at this A&W. Now, 1125 Ridge Road, which is not mentioned in the probable cause document, is right here, but apparently at 3:29 it drives by there. Then we have leaked footage on Linda Lane right here at 3:29:49 right there. Then we have also leaked footage from another Linda Lane camera back here filming the white elantra drive back behind 500 Queen Road. And let's just continue what it says right here. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood shows multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29. So that's likely the Ridge Road camera that they're basing this on, 3:29. It could also be the Linda Lane camera that's filming out towards Taylor Avenue. And then ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by 1122 King Road residents and then leave via Elantra Drive. All right, so we see right there it's 3:29. That's the initial pass coming in. Now, Ann Taylor, in her attempt to sort of confuse people, used the 3:56 image in her documents recently. And so that doesn't marry up with some of the information that's been being discussed online and in some of the hearings that they've had. And she picked the worst image she could possibly find to use. Now we know that that camera at 1112 King Road has very clear video footage, but the lights on the vehicle blow out the ability to see if it had a front license plate or not. But the timing is absolutely perfect. So let's take a look at some of the comments that were made in these hearings.
And the defendant appears to argue that, well, the vehicle specialist shouldn't have relied on this video because they can't tell that was a Hyundai Elantra. To them, it doesn't look like, I guess, a Hyundai Elantra. And the video that is clear, well, they take issue with that video because, and specifically we're talking about 1125 Ridge Road, because they say, well, that can't be surveillance video of the white Elantra, even though it was caught on video about 0.3 miles from the crime scene, about 3 minutes right before when we see the suspect vehicle enter the area of the crime scene.
I mean, to be honest with you, she doesn't really word things very well either. What she's trying to say is that the vehicle was identified at the 1125 Ridge Road camera, and it was Brian Kohberger's vehicle, and it was a quarter of a mile from the crime scene.
Which 0.3 and 3 minutes appear to be the amount of time it would take the vehicle to travel to the area of the crime scene.
So let's talk about
that portion. What she was saying there was really accurate, because I'll show you that the timing is absolutely amazing. It's perfect. The amount of time it would take to drive from each of the various location to location. Now, of course, it depends on speed, so I'm off by 3 seconds on one of them and maybe 6 seconds on one of the other videos, but it's obviously the same vehicle driving around at 3:29-ish in the morning.
About the vehicle. The court asked some questions about what the magistrate could see in the PC affidavit. The way it's laid out would cause one to think that the vehicle's identified on the camera near the house, and that's not so. It's not identifiable. The state's expert said it's not identifiable from that particular video. It's piecing together the other videos that they come up with something.
What's the evidence that law enforcement relied on the Ridge Road footage to identify the vehicle?
What did they rely on?
What's the evidence that they relied on Ridge Road, which you say doesn't show anything? What's the evidence they relied on that to ID the vehicle?
They relied on the Ridge Road camera, and you can see that in the emails from Imel and the other law enforcement officers when they say they have Paradise Creek Road, and then they say we finally got a good one, and it produced to us is the 1125 Ridge Road footage and photograph, and that's the only one that you can make a positive ID on.
See, right there, she admits it makes a positive ID.
In the car.
I mean, so she's literally admitting it. Now, what I'm doing right here is on the screen, I put a time clock at 3:24 and 58 seconds, and I have it linked up where it drives by the 700 Indian Hills Drive at like around, I think it's 3:26 and maybe 20 seconds or so, and you'll see how perfect the timing is. Watch. So obviously at 3-something in the morning, there isn't a lot of waiting around for other cars. This time of night when I was there was like 7:30. So people are, maybe went out and had dinner, coming home, a little bit more traffic, obviously. But I don't think Kohberger was speeding through the neighborhoods on his route there, because he wouldn't have wanted to get pulled over. So he's just driving, a regular pace here. Now where we're looking at right now is right here on the map. Hold on, right over there. We just turn like this, and we'll be going up like that and taking a left on Indian Hills Drive. And then right here we'll be taking a left onto Indian Hills Drive. So right now it's almost 3:26. And it might even be closer to 3:26. It's coming up right. I actually slowed down a little bit. And we just passed the property that had the surveillance camera on it at 3:26:13. All right. So we just passed here. And now you can see we're starting to take a left, and we'll curve around. In just a moment, we'll make a long curve. And I guess the police station's down there. It's just pure coincidence. There's no way in hell he was looking at the police station to see who's driving in and out. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. All right, so right now it's making this turn, coming around like this, and it'll straighten out and make its way to Steiner Avenue. And then take a left. All right, so get back to the video. I'll play it again at the end, marrying up the surveillance footage that's out there as well. And eventually makes its way to Steiner Avenue. And that's going to be right here. And then after the vehicle takes a left on Steiner Avenue, it's going to go right through this intersection, and that's where the A&W is. And look what time it is, 3:27:40. Remember, it passes the A&W at approximately 3:28. So here we go. I mean, look how accurate this timing is. So 3:28, a white Elantra drives by the A&W, and it's missing its front license plate. Now, here's a light here. Now, it's possible that time of night, depending on the traffic, it seems like at that time of night at 3:30 there wouldn't be very much, so there wouldn't be much waiting right here. And I don't have to wait that much. It's just like maybe 5-6 seconds, right? And then we make it through the light, and it's 3:28, 24 seconds. Absolutely consistent with the PCA, would be approximately 3:28. And now we're driving forward. I've really brightened up the light on these videos. It's much darker than this. So 3:28, and we're just about to Ridge Road. We're just about right here, making that turn. And there it is. That's the building right there that has the camera on it. And now it's going around. And in a moment, we'll be on Taylor Avenue. And look what time it is. 3:29. And we'll be on Taylor Avenue. I think I might be waiting here for a moment for a car to drive by. There's one right there. And I usually drive a little fast, you know. I'm not a speed demon. I did get a ticket there, 35 and a 25. And now we're driving, and in a moment here, at 3:29:35, you'll see there's a street on the left. Just after this road right here, there'll be a street on the left. I slow down. It's right here. Look at that, 3:29:46, okay? That is the Linda Lane camera that films out towards the street. And that is this one right here. I'm gonna load it up. So it's hard to make out, but you can see down here, if I move the camera forward to 3, down at the bottom of the screen, you can just see it right down here. I'm going to move it to 3:29, and that's 39 seconds, 40, and then there's the vehicle right there. Boom, and it drives by right there at 3:29:49. And then back to the video where I was driving, and the clock at the top, it's 3:29:46. That's 3 seconds off. You know, and that just comes down to if you have to stop or if you're driving quicker, etc. So it's 3:29:48. And then you can see Sigma Chi on the right down there. Band Field is just there on the right. And I slowed down there for a moment to talk about that in the actual video when I was driving, but only stopped for 2 or 3 seconds. And again, I drive quicker than you probably would if you were like stalking and surveilling here. You'd probably be driving in really slowly. Now I switched over to daylight so you could see what it looked like at the exact same time. And there's 1112 King Road on the right. And then that's 500 Queen Road, that brick building, and the scene where all 4 were killed was just there on the right. And then I'm driving back behind 500 Queen Road. And then as I turn, I switch back to the dark video at nighttime. So it's 3:30:53, 54. Now if we open up this video right here, it's all right, and right now you can see it 3:30, and you know it's 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, and 57, 58 is making that turn. So 3:30 and 58 seconds is making that turn. And then back to the video when I was out there filming. Look, it's 3:30:56, just a little around that corner. So it's really only like 3 or 4 seconds off. It's crazy. Absolutely perfect timing. And then you go around behind 500 Queen Road, and then the vehicle will stop and park right next to the house. And I think the location that I park is really almost exactly where you would think Kohberger might have parked. Now, right here, look at where, from this position, you can see right into Madison Mogen's room and the lights. So I think that might be the spot where he stopped. But as you can see, and by the way, he stopped for like 2 or 3 minutes on the first 2 loops that he made and stayed in the exact position, watched, and we can tell that because of the audio out on Taylor Avenue of the vehicle driving by. And now it's 3:31:21, and this is the end of the sequencing that I'm going to be showing you on this video. Hopefully someday somebody will release more video and we can start linking more of it together, but unfortunately there's people that actually deleted or didn't put out on the internet the exact time frame on Linda Lane that shoots out towards Taylor Avenue. That is important. It's amazing. They got rid of exactly that time frame and put everything else out there so people could speculate on every Tom, Dick, and Harry car that drove by instead of focusing in on the white elantra and its movements during the time frame that's mentioned in the PCA. All right, now next what I'm going to play is the full drive again, but with the surveillance footage put into the scene onto the side with the clock on it so that you can watch it as it's happening and see how close it is without me interrupting. All right, and so here we go. I'm going to be talking during it, but I won't stop the video or anything like that. All right, look at this, 3:25:05. We're heading around, and we're heading towards Indian Hills Drive, where on the PCA, that's the first time it mentions in that document when the vehicle was seen. Now, since that time, they may have found more footage somewhere else, but they have him on Indian Hills Drive at 3:26. And like I was saying before, the traffic probably would be almost none at that time in the morning. And then I believe this is Indian Hills Drive right here, if I remember correctly. Yes, take a left here. And then as we're driving here, see that house with all the Christmas lights on it? It's the house just before that one. This one right here on the left is the one that has a camera on it. And you can see right now it's 3:26 and 15 seconds. So that matches the time. They said it was 3:26 at Indian Hills Drive. And it only takes about 2 minutes to get to the A&W. And we're just winding around in the hills now. And I'm trying to put this out for everybody so it's really simple and easy to understand. I think if I was on a jury, I'd like to see stuff like this so I would understand how the circumstantial chain of surveillance footage absolutely, it would be almost irresponsible of somebody to think that that's a different car, just for the sake of wanting to believe something else. The timing is absolutely perfect. It's the same vehicle. They have suspect vehicle 1, very consistent looking, etc. And it's going in the exact same direction, and the cameras aren't far apart. So for someone to believe that that's not the same vehicle just for the sake of saying it's not is irresponsible, and it's not, they say it's not reasonable to believe that that's not the same vehicle. And here it is, 3:27 and 43 seconds. And this is from basically inside the Elantra that was just driving by 700 Indian Hills Drive. And you can see right up on the right there, kitty corner across the street, that's the the A&W. Now it's 32807. Absolutely consistent, very consistent with the probable cause document. He likely wouldn't have had to stop here for more than like 2 seconds at that time of night. I'm driving around again, like I said, at 7:30. There's the A&W on it with cameras, and it was able to determine that there was no front license plate on this suspect vehicle number 1. And now it's 3:28 and 41 seconds. And we're on Steiner Avenue. And right where that vehicle is up there that took a left, that is the Ridge Road camera. And that was at 3:29-ish. So that's really close, you know. We're probably off by 4 seconds right there. And that all comes down to how fast somebody's driving. And then right here, we were taking a left onto Taylor Avenue. And I had to wait a second or two. 3 seconds maybe. Probably wouldn't have had to wait at 3:30 in the morning. So it's 3:29:29. I drive quicker, so maybe there's sort of like a nice little average out there for me having to wait, and then I drive quicker. So 3:29:39. And now look at the clock down below. It's very close. Look at that. 3:29:47. Boom. Drove right down past that Linda Lane camera. Sorry about that. My calendar on my phone just beeped. 3:29:57. And I slowed down here just for a moment to explain that that's Banfield and Sigma Chi in the original video, so maybe lost 2 seconds there. So it would have been a little quicker. But again, I drive quicker. And then you take a left here onto King Road. And then we'll be turning left. I switched it over to daylight. Switching it over to Queen Road. That's 1112 King Road up there on the right. Just after that is 1122 King Road, the house where all victims were killed there on the right. And then we're driving up here now. He probably drove a lot slower and more steady back through here. But again, it's very consistent. Look what time it is. 3:30 and 47, 48, 49, 50. Then I switch over. Now you can see it's 58. So it's like 4 or 5 seconds off. And that's it. Okay? As the vehicle, I'm a little bit ahead of it because I drove quicker. And then I'm just going to show you the rest of it. Come around, and then I switch over to daylight again, right there. Turn and park right here. Right by the house, and I think that's likely where he parked because you could see right into Madison Mogen's room, and as you can see, that's 3:31 and 28 seconds. All right, everybody. I hope this helped you see how the circumstantial evidence of the surveillance footage lining up perfectly in a chain shows you that is Brian Kohberger's vehicle, the white Elantra. You'd have to believe that he turned off somewhere else and another car jumped in there in a small, tiny window. Okay? So let me know in the comments if these kinds of videos help you understand things a little bit better in the case. I think, like I was saying before, I think jurors would love to see things like this when they are looking at that kind of information, especially when you can't say, yeah, it's 100% the car, but it really is the car because even Ann Taylor admits that Kohberger's vehicle was identified at Ridge Road, which is a quarter-mile away, and it was heading in the direction of the house. And then we see that vehicle matching that description, driving right there on King Road and then back behind 500 Queen Road. And then, as we all know, on its final pass, it stopped for a 12-minute period from 4:08 until 4:20, at which time all 4 victims were killed, and a knife sheath was left on the bed with Brian Kohberger's DNA on it. Now, when I say bed, it was the bed of Madison Mogen, and it was laying on her right side, and his DNA was left on that knife sheath. And then, after the homicides, that same white elantra was driving away at a high rate speed at 420. So that means inside of that 12-minute window, Kohberger was inside of that house, and he killed all 4 of those victims. Now, you don't have to believe that, but I am 100% convinced myself that Bryand Kohberger is the killer, and there hasn't been anything produced by anybody out there at all that makes you go, I don't know. It's not confusing to people who have logical minds. Thank you all very much for watching, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.